So your energy is coming in with man holding a heart, and they're coming in with victory. So let's go ahead and see what the major arcana says for a clarifier. Typically, the man holding a heart is somebody that's giving you a heartfelt offer. They're very transparent. What you see is what you get. You know, they're not putting on airs. They're not putting on any false feelings or identities. But of course, we're going to pull a major to clarify, so we'll see how that changes. They're coming in as victory. You know, successful. They just accomplished something. They are an accomplished individual. Let's see what the clarifiers are. Okay, so you're coming in with Temperance, Sag, and this is actually your card in the tarot deck. So you're coming in very firmly that you have an honest offer that you're giving to someone right now. You have faith in this offer. You have faith in yourself. You are very balanced. Wow, and speaking of balance, they're coming in with Justice in the upright. And that is talking about possibly a Libra energy. So there could be an air energy coming in with this as well. So if they happen to be an air sign, Libra, Gem, or Aquarius, or have that in their charts, you know, this could resonate with a particular person in that aspect. Very solid energy, very balanced. What you see is what you get. They can be a little bold. Okay, so when you give them this offer, they're going to kind of step back and say, okay, I need to think about this, because whatever it is that you're offering is very intense, very important, and they're very interested. Solar plexus talks about their identity in their ego. And I think that's important to them because they just achieved something really huge, and they have to make sure that this is going to mesh with their goals, mesh with their new future, mesh and balance with what they just went through. They're not going to take any unnecessary risks. They've done this very much on their own. It's like coming out of a divorce, so to speak, and then like rebuilding your life from scratch. And I was going to pull you guys first, but because I was meditating on them, the Seven of Coins came and fell on the floor. And it's in the reverse, which tells me that they are doing this on their own. I don't know why your cards are falling on the floor today, guys. Because not knowing where they were going. Yep. Justice twice. Okay, so with the Seven of Coins in reverse, talks about how they did this on their own. They did have to take a huge hit and reinvent themselves with the Eight of Cups in reverse. They didn't know where they were going. They had to walk away. They had to make a new life for themselves, and they had to balance it out. They got the Justice card again. So you have Justice twice on that end. This is very intense. This is where a wrong was righted. Again, I'm going to use the analogy of a divorce where this person had to walk away with nothing and reinvent themselves, and now they're back on their game. They just bought their house. They have a nice car. They have a decent job that's paying for all this stuff. They feel fulfilled in what they have done up until this point, because where they had to be separated from what their foundation used to be, they had to reinvent themselves. And this is where they're not going to take any offers very lightly. It's very important that they mull things over. So whatever offer you have for them, Sag, they're going to take their time until they can see where the balance is, that they can work with this. And they're using their past to kind of gauge how much risk they're willing to take at this point. You know, because the Justice came in twice, I'm going to throw it out there that you could be dealing with the Libra. And that would make sense too, because being a fire sign that you are, and then if this was a Libra energy where they really mull things over and they take their sweet little old time to make decisions, being a Libra myself, I'm not going to throw shade on my Libras, but we take forever to make a decision, okay? We will mull it over and we'll beat that idea to death and the what ifs and the how comes until people like really just make a decision. You're coming in with Lovers. This is soulmate. This is a beautiful pairing, completely balanced. Palace of Wands is coming in with that. You have that fire energy in your belly. You really want to get this off the ground. There's something that you want to move forward. It's going to be very solid for you. You know, this vision really suits you very well. Page, Queen of Coins in reverse. This is talking about imbalance in home and family. This is where you'll be spending a lot of time doing this, that you'll be taking away from your kids, taking away from your spouse and your family obligations, that other people are going to have to kind of step up and fill your shoes while you're not there, because you have a passion right now, and with this other person, it's going to be very intense. I feel like you start to delegate your responsibilities. Your cards are just falling all over the floor. Three of Wands in the upright, having a new vision with this person, having seeing your ships come in with this person. It's like you're really banking that this person, who is a complete balance for you, is on board whatever your vision is. You know, you'll find the balance. Here we go. Four of Pentacles. Stability, control. Death in reverse, breaking free. Yes, all your cards are falling on the floor today, guys. Death in reverse, breaking free from any of the things that didn't hold you, that was holding you back, that didn't work for you. It's like you're breaking free to a new thought process, a new beginning, a new romance, a new partnership of some sort. Someone comes in and you're all about this person, whether it's for a financial thing, a spiritual journey, a romantic journey, whatever it is for you. You're going to be giving an offer to someone that's very important to you, that you see a new future with. Here we have the Three of Swords in reverse. That's breaking free as well, letting go of resentment, past hurts, really reinventing themselves. So I really feel that, you know, whatever relationship that they had to walk away and rebuild themselves from scratch. I mean, I'm talking scratch, zero, nothing, homeless, everything else, that they really rose above all the challenges they had, and they are finally secure as to where they are. They have their own home, they have their own car, their own finances, and they built that up all on their own. You know, so their ego is not, for the solar plexus, is not a bad thing, but they're going to protect that. Okay, because they worked very hard on it. Yes, look at, they worked very hard on it. Seven of Pentacles. Looking at their successes, looking at all the hard work. You know, it took a lot of hard work to get where they are. So they're at a point that they can look back and they have the experience and they have the knowledge and they know what didn't work for them and what did work for them, because like I said, they started from ground zero. Look at, yes, absolutely. Queen of Pentacles, balance in the foundation, balance in the stability, you know, creating that for themselves, being a very strong, independent person, not relying on anyone else. Having that balance, you know, in all areas, and having that firm foundation. And they worked really, really hard to get past whatever heartbreak that they had in the past. They forgave, they moved forward, they released it. There's no resentment. They've moved forward. They have a new focus, they had a new vision, and now they're sitting at the top of that wheel energy where they made it. They have accomplished a lot of things. So like I said, it could be a Libra in your life. It could be that they, you know, took time out, really reinvented themselves, really came out strong, and you have something to offer them. You have a plan to better each other's lives, better each other's finances. It's like you have something that you want to offer them, some choice, and they're going to choose wisely. They're going to pick and choose, and they're also going to take their time to do so, regardless of the sign. They're going to be very cautious about what they do. Let's go ahead and pull some emotion cards here. You know, that's not to say that you didn't work very hard either, because you have, you know, but you have the wand card here and the choices, and that it's all about your fire and where you want to go and what you want to do. You know, you have the Four of Pentacles. You've worked hard. You want to hang on to what you've accomplished as well. But because you're a fire sign, you're also a little bit more risky than some of the other signs. It's like, you know, you see something and you're like, ooh, I like that. I'm going after that. And that's where you are. Seek the truth. Yes, absolutely. As you transform and you're using your intuition, you're seeking the truth from the divine. You're seeking the truth from other people. You are on a path right now. And like I said, you have a vision. You have a fire in your belly. There's something that you want to do and you're going to go after it. They have healing begins. Okay, which is interesting because this is where they're at right now. You know, like I said, they've gone through that chakra, that heart chakra, where they had to kind of release all that so they could start over. And when they did go into the rest and rejuvenate, and they took themselves and put themselves basically in timeout so they could heal their broken heart, their broken ego, their broken soul, whatever it happened to be, for however long it took, because they have the Seven of Pentacles. So that means that they worked on this for quite some time. You know, they reinvented themselves, and it took a long time to get to where they are, because now they're in the queen status. This is where they're at the top of their cycle. That is where they completed some really heavy stuff. And they're not at princess status. They're at queen status. They know what they're talking about. They know what they've been through. So it's real important that they honor that. So let them have that time as they do ponder your offer. Let them have that time, because they're very balanced. They will do what's right for them. And I know you're excited about whatever vision it is that you have, but allow them to go through the process of evaluating whether it's going to work within their schedule, is going to benefit them. Because right now that's where they're at. They're making sure that all the choices and the changes they make in their lives benefits, excuse me, them, but not in a real selfish way, but more of a protective way. Because they've already been through the gamut, and they're not willing to risk what they can't afford to lose. All right, so your angel message is coming in as Caressa, and it reads, you are at the end of a cycle in your life. Call upon your angels to comfort you and to guide you to your next step. Happiness awaits you now. Woohoo! Yes, absolutely, Saggy. You know, if this is a lover situation, you know, and you're asking them to move it to the next level, give them that time to think it through. You know, let them breathe. Let them go through the process of should I or shouldn't I? You know, this relationship is not the same as any other relationship. I work so hard. You know, am I going to risk it? And they're coming in with Archangel Michael, which is very important because this is our warrior angel. This is someone that's very powerful, strong. You know, this is very protective as well. And the message reads for you, I am with you, giving you the courage to make life changes that will help you work on your divine life purpose. So while they're going through this meditation in this withdrawal stage, Archangel Michael is going to help guide them as to what's best for them. You know, they're going to get that courage from Archangel Michael to make a decision and make the right decision for themselves. And if you're offering something very, very important, guys, like if you're asking someone to move in with you, marry you, go out with you, whatever it is, romantically, and or for best friends, you know, if you're asking someone to kind of take a risk with you in a job situation or whatever it is, this is going to be a new journey. No matter what kind of relationship you have, they need to mull it over. They need to have the courage to do this. You believe very much in what you're offering. You know, it's interesting that you have the Queen of Pentacles in their area right there. Very balanced. Okay, so your spirit message today is vulnerability. And it says, this is a confirmation that you're seeking to tread into the unknown, unfamiliar territory where decisions are based more on intuition than rationality. Don't let fear hold you back or allow a misguided sense that feeling vulnerable is somehow a negative condition. You're ready to make this change. You're ready to jump in with 2 feet. There's no doubt about it. You know, you may have a fear here and there, but you're not addressing those fears. You're putting them aside, and you feel very firm as to what this means to you. Their spirit message is hello from heaven. And it reads, your loved ones are in the spirit world wanting to connect with you as much as you want to connect with them. They know you've been thinking of them, and they're sending you signs and symbols to show how much they love you, to prove that they're really with you at this time. So if someone had lost someone else, maybe due to a death that was very important to them, and it shook them up for a long time, and that's where they were in that rest stage, and they came out fighting. They came out ready to conquer whatever it is, you know, because they have the Eight of Coins there in reverse, as well as the Seven of Pentacles. You know, it writes itself. All that energy that they go through writes itself in the end, and they're very strong, and they're very prepared for the next stage of their lives, you know, but they do have the fear of going backwards and having to kind of give up a little bit of their control over their environment that they work so hard to reestablish. So know that they will be getting messages from Archangel Michael, also with their relatives, to help guide them on this path as kind of help for their decisions. All right, Saggy, let's go ahead and see what your oracle cards have to add. And you have conclusion, ending one chapter, opening another chapter. And like I said, messages is theirs. They're all about the messages right now. So give them the time to contemplate. They're downloading from spirit. They're listening to the messages. They're seeing the synchronicities. They're really going to consider your offer 110%. I believe that their answer will be yes to whatever your question happens to be, because it's a solid offer. It's a true offer. It's a balanced offer. You're more of a fire sign than they are. You know, you're all fired up. So I don't believe you're dealing with another fire sign. So you could be dealing with a water, air, or earth sign. So keep that in mind, that they need time to kind of weigh out their options for this. But I believe this is a beautiful union. You're both very strong. You're both very independent, and you're both very secure in where you are right now. So keep that in mind as you go through the month. Give them a little breathing room and let them kind of go through the process.